Hello, I didn't see you there. Sit down, please. Did you come to hear my story? No? Well, you're in for a treat then, because we're not talking just about one legend, we have multiple. The first one starts with one little annoying YouTuber who once said, "Hello my beautiful basilisks and mythology in mind, you can call me Eminem, and today I'm starting a new series, yay! In this one, I'll talk about legends and stories from my country, Spain, with the S. In this case, I am not talking about a particular legend, more of a collection of small ones, with historical context for you non-Spanish people. Well, I'm hoping my Spanish folk know at least the super basic stuff, please do. Oh, and before we start, I did a collab with Messiah and Mythology about the names, and it's a great video, so why don't you go check it out? I get hit with a bat, it's pretty great. Anyway, let's get into it. So, what is the Alhambra? It's a city inside a city. How? You see, Spain was inhabited by the Visigoths, which honestly were here 5 minutes and did a few chunky buildings and ugly jewelry, but people loved them for some stupid reason. Racism? And because these people were dumb as a fucking rock and they were always having drama between them, like literally the 3 centuries they were here, it was only stupid conflict with themselves. Basically, Bitiza was the king, he died, and said that his son Aquila should rule after him. The nobles were like, "Sure honey, just die already, thank you." And they made another dude, Rodrigo, the king. There was a civil war and Rodrigo was winning, so Aquila asked help from the Muslims from the north of Africa. They entered the country and they defeated the Visigoths. Like, obviously they were going to do that. Oh yeah, and we didn't learn as a country because something similar happened in the 19th century with the French, but I digress. Anyway, they conquered Spain. Okay, not all it, please, Basque people, don't come for me. And when you have a country, you need a capital. The city the Visigoths were using as such was Toledo, but this was too far up north, having in mind that their troops and citizens were coming from North Africa. And also the weather in the south was similar to where they were coming from. The north was way drier and colder, and Toledo is not far up north, I know, but the weather is tough, super cold or super hot. So they moved the capital to Andalusia, to the city they will call Medina Garnata, or City of Pilgrims. They called the city this way because it was ruled by Jewish people. Well, until they conquered it. Strategically speaking, it was an amazing place. Sierra Nevada, a perpetually covered in snow mountain range, it used to be that changed in the 19th century with global warming, protected the north from every attack, and the south was well connected with other places that would alert in case of attacks, which were unlikely having in mind the rest of your country is on the south. Granada was being ruled from the Albaicin, but the Muslims decided to make their own city within the city for the upper class and make of it a paradise on earth. And so they created the Alhambra, which means the red one. Relatable. Warning, this is a Spanish political joke. I think I'm going to start telling you about the legends inside these walls and explain where they happen, because again, this is a full-ass city, so talking about everything would be too much, and I'm not an expert either. The first legend is about one of the 3 paths that leads to the Alhambra, and the one I took to get up there. God's fucking damn it, this was the first part of my trip to the Alhambra and I was already dead. It is called La Cuesta del Rey Chico, which means the slope of the small king, and it's named after the story I'm going to tell you. Apparently, Boabdil used this route to lead the rebellion against his dad, Sultan Mulay Hassan, or Mulay Yassin by the Christians, who would later call the biggest mountain we have on the Iberian Peninsula after him. And he defeated his dad and became the last sultan. 10 years after this, he surrendered the city to the Christians. And speaking about Boabdil, there is another thing said about him, which is not true, but it is a legend, and it's funny, so I'll tell it anyway. When the Catholic kings, Isabel of Castilla and Fernando of Aragon, took the city, Boabdil was exiled, but before that he gave the key to the city to Isabel and Fernando. He started crying while doing this, and his mother, Aixa, told him, "No llores como mujer lo que no has sabido defender como hombre." That translates to, "Don't cry as a woman what you have not known how to defend as a man." I know it's the worst, but it cracks me every time, I swear, this fucking lady didn't give a shit. Damn. La Torre de las Infantas, or the Tower of the Princesses, holds a legend about 3 sisters, Zaida, Zoraida, and Zorahaida. Their father, a sultan, was told by an astrologer that his daughters would have marriages not good enough for their princesses' status, so he locked them up there. Fun fact, my mother also used to threaten me with locking me up in a tower next to my town if I misbehaved. But who is the one between walls now, mother? Not me. Sorry, let me continue. The girls ended up watching some Christian knights that were captured by their dad's soldiers and fell in love with them. I hate that trope so much. And when the men's families paid for their liberation, the girls escaped with them. I guess they had time to plan that while the princesses were in a tower and the knights in a cell in opposite parts of the city, I don't know. But in the last moment, the youngest girl, Zoraida, bawled out and didn't go. She died young and sad, Padma style, and in her tomb a rose bloomed. I didn't find it, but I found these roses who were pretty, so let's pretend they proved the legend. And speaking about a similar gender-bent story, let's talk about Prince Ahmed Alcamel. Another fucking astrologer or oracle or something told his father that the boy would be exceeding in everything, but unlucky at love. The Sultan took a page out of the father of the princess's books and he forbid the kid for going out of the Generalife. This is a place in the Alhambra where most of the gardens are, and also the vegetable patches that feed the castles inside the walls. There are a few small castles too. The kid was with a philosopher that was his teacher too, and the man was not to tell the prince what love was. As the kid grew into a teen, he started losing interest in his studies, like, was that the only thing he was doing for fucking years? Props to him because I wouldn't have survived for a month living only to study. Anyways, his teacher told him the language of the birds, so the child was entertained. One day, he heard a bird singing the song of love. I don't know how the lyrics go, but I'll guess something like this. Hello, I'm a horny bird who wants to fuck. I love poetry. The kid obsessed over what love could be until one day a bird fell next to him because of a hawk wound, and the prince took care of it in exchange for knowing what love wants. When he knew, he started stalking the noble girls of the Generalife, fell in love with one and ran away with her. And they were happy against the predictions. The end. There is a chamber on the Patio De Los Leones, the Lion's Patio, I guess, called the Chamber of the Aventarajes, which was the name of one of the most influential noble families of Granada. This place was the Sultan's chamber, where he ordered the murder of the 37 Aventarajes knights during a party, because a rival family, the Femtes, created a rumor about the Sultan's wife sleeping with an Aventaraje. There is still red in the fountain of the chamber, apparently because of the knight's blood. So, nobody has cleaned it in at least 6 centuries? Gross. What are we? French. There is another legend involving El Patio de los Leones, probably the most famous part of the Alhambra, maybe you've seen it before. There was a princess named Zaira whose mother had died when she was little, leaving her a talisman, and her father was a big cunt that also kept her away from people. Dude, this father should open a club or something. The princess started seeing a dude in secret, but her father found out eventually and he sentenced the guy to death. The princess went to his chambers to plead for her boyfriends, but found a diary where his father wrote that he had killed the girl's true parents with the help of his 11 men. Stop. What? How? How do you take a princess and no one knows? Why do you keep a paper with that written? Why? Fucking hell, this dude is dumb. No. Let's not get hung on that. We can do it. The princess made her fake father and his men go to the patio, which was empty at the time, and use her talisman, which is magical, all of a sudden, and she controls it and shit, and uses it to turn all of them into stone lions. And I guess she put a fountain in the middle too. Nice touch. Oh, and you might look at the lions and be like, what the fuck, why don't these lions have manes? Are they all females? Well, my beautiful basilisk, apparently you're looking at some mountain lions we had in Europe until they became extinct, who had no mane. But yeah, half of these lions are females. I'll let you figure out which. Not because I don't know, I totally know. There is also something that grabbed my attention a lot in the chambers surrounding the patio, even though it's not a legend as such. It's this painting. We really don't know what story it tells, so the historians have made it up looking at the images. I don't remember too well, but something about a knight saving a princess, then the knight competing for her love, and then they play chess. Very confusing. I do believe that old man is Zeus. Changed my mind. In one of the doors that led you into the Alhambra, called La Puerta de la Justicia, or the Gate of Justice, you can see a hand. I did not see it in person because it was far away and my BF wanted to see the Generalife in more detail and I just wanted to fucking die of hunger and pain. There is a legend that says that if there is a knight that sitting on his horse touches the hand with the tip of his lance, he would conquer the city. This makes sense. You had to be a fucking giant with a giant horse and two lances glued to one another to achieve that. There is also a key in the second arch, and another story says that if the hand of the first arch touches the key, it would be because the end of the world has happened, as the Alhambra would be in ruins. I wouldn't want to live in a world where this city is destroyed, so it would definitely be the end for me. Thank you. You may have noticed there is also a statue of the Virgin Mary in the door, no? Know the actual meaning of these three symbols? I'll give you a minute to think and type in the comments. Psych, I'll tell you right now, you poor soul. The hand is the hand of Fatima, an Islamic symbol that has had multiple meanings through the centuries. The fingers could symbolize the 5 relatives of Muhammad, the 5 Islamic commandments, a talisman for good luck, but in this specific place it means that the city is ruled by people who follow Islam. The key means that the place has protection, so you can't attack, but also if you're here to sell goods, you will be safe. This door led to other one that I saw with the same key because the market was in that direction. The Virgin Mary was Isabel of Castilla's ways of saying that the place was Christian without taking symbols out. Oh, and that is pretty curious too. Isabel loved this place and she asked it to be kept as it was, so anything they had to change because of repairs or whatever had to be made following the Arabic style. You can actually see Quran verses written in the walls by Christians under Isabel's commands, and she prayed in a mosque, where if you look close enough to the tiles, you can see Christian symbols hidden so they don't disrupt. And King Carlos V added a little stone with holy water so he could cross himself. And it was so down because this man was like 160 centimeters or 5'2" feet. So cute, my sword king. Literally. But Carlos, why do you do this to me? Why did you have to build a massive fucking palace in the middle of the Alhambra against your grandma's wishes? God fucking damn it, Carlos, you should have stopped 5 minutes to think. Shit, I have sidetracked like crazy. What we were talking about? I don't remember. Well, it seems like a good place to left on. Oh, and before anyone comes saying something about Washington Irving wrote about this. Yeah, he spent 3 months here writing about the legends and then he went away. I haven't read his book, so you tell me if it's the same or if he made some shit up. Thank you for staying for such a long video. I hope you have learned something. I don't know how it will work, but I have finals nearby, so I might not upload or maybe some short video. We will see. Anyway, have a nice Iron Age. Bye!